Hello again, everyone. It is Dwayne. It is Sunday. It is time for the Sunday edition of One Man's Opinion. It's funny how that works. We got a lot to talk about and a very short time to get it all in, so let's get started. We're going to go to the Virgin Islands. The 19th, this past Saturday, yesterday, they had the Republican caucus there. 9 delegates at play, 6 committed, 3 uncommitted. As of right now, no delegates have been assigned to any candidate. The closest I could find was on Fox News, and they said to be announced. So we don't know anything about the Virgin Islands yet, but I'm sure we'll find out something soon enough. Okay, moving right along. Oh, by the way, before I forget it, the Democrats will have their Virgin Island caucus on June 4th. We got some stuff going on this week. We're in March Madness, basketball-wise, and essentially we're in March Madness as far as politics are concerned. Saturday, the 26th, we have Washington State coming up. There's 101 delegates at stake there. That is a big state to take. But closer to today is the primaries and caucuses taking place on Tuesday. Arizona's having a primary. American Samoa, Idaho, and Utah are having caucuses. The one in Idaho will also have Democrat caucus. Let's talk about the polls here real quick on those 3 states. I'm not going to worry about American Samoa because it's not really a factor in this. Real Clear Politics as of today, the 20th. And I looked at this about an hour ago. It's 2:25 at this moment where I'm recording this. In Utah, Ted Cruz has 53%, John Kasich has 29%, and Trump has 11%. So right now, it looks like Ted Cruz is going to take Utah, unless something drastic takes place. Let's go to Arizona real quick. Arizona. We'll talk about the Democrats first. In the polling there, Clinton has got 53 to Bernie Sanders 23. So that's 76%. That means 24% of the people are undecided as far as the Democrats are concerned. On the Republican side of it, Donald Trump has 34%, Ted Cruz at 21%, and John Kasich at 12.5%. Let's talk about Idaho now, because Idaho is going to be the state to watch. As of today, Ted Cruz and Donald Trump are in a virtual tie. Trump has 29%, Cruz has 27%, with margin of error of 3%. You might as well say it's virtual dead heat. John Kasich is at 7% in Idaho. Now let's talk about the Kasich factor. If John Kasich were not in the race and this was a 2-man race, the numbers would be a whole lot different, wouldn't they? Let's go back to Utah real quick. Kasich has 29%. Let's round it up and make it 30% just for shits and giggles here. And let's give 15% to each candidate, Trump and Cruz. At that point, Trump and Cruz wouldn't be that far apart, as they are right now. Even if you gave all of them of Kasich to Donald Trump, Cruz would still be ahead. So I'm saying at this point, unless there's something drastic that takes place, that Ted Cruz will win Utah regardless of Kasich's involvement or not. In Arizona, where Kasich has 12.5%, let's make it 12%. Since we rounded up one, we'll round the next 2 down. Kasich giving away 12%, that would be 6 points each to Trump and Cruz. Even if you gave all of it to Ted Cruz, Donald Trump would still be ahead 34, well, 34 to 33%. It would be a dead heat. Hadn't thought about that part of it. I just learned something. You heard it here first, folks. But if you give 6% each to Trump and Cruz, Trump is ahead 40 to 27. That still means that there's 30% or so of the people out there who are undecided. So Arizona may go to Trump, but it may not be as far apart as you imagine. And in Idaho, Kasich's got 7%. We'll say it's 6%. Give 3 points to each one of them. Trump would still be ahead by 2 points. It'd still be a dead heat. If you give it to Trump, well, he's got 35 to Cruz's 27. That still means there's around 30% of the people who are undecided. Idaho's going to be the state to watch on this one, I believe. It could go either way. Whoever wins Idaho is going to have some bragging rights. All right, let's talk about delegate count here real quick. For the Democrats, no surprise, Hillary Clinton is up 16-14 to Sanders 8-56. Bernie Sanders is out of this race, except for the fact that his donors are keeping him in it. I don't think he's got a snowball's chance in hell of getting close to the delegates needed. Hillary is going to walk away with this unless she's indicted, and if she is, which is doubtful, but let's just say she is, they're not going to let Bernie Sanders get her delegates. They are going to bring in Joe Biden or somebody like that and give him all the delegates. Trust me, the fix is in against Bernie Sanders because they do not want an avowed socialist running for the Democrats. Not yet, anyway. Give them a few more years, it won't matter. All right. As far as the Republicans, you've got Trump right now with 678, Cruz with 423, Kasich has 143. The Kasich factor right now is who would he give his delegates to if he were to bow out of the race? If he were to give them to Cruz, we'd have a very, very tight race. If he was to give them to Trump, it would be over with. All right. Let's talk about a couple issues real quick outside of the numbers. Mitt Romney this past week said he would vote for Ted Cruz over Donald Trump. I don't know if that was an actual endorsement or a threat. If I were Ted Cruz, I would be worried, very worried, because that could be a death knell to him. Oh, and I'm sure that Donald Trump could give a rat's ass at this point. Speaking of Donald Trump, there was a rally in Arizona that Black Lives Matter, MoveOn.org, and a bunch of other lefties blocked a highway to keep people from getting to the rally. The rally went on. It was very successful. They also had one up in New York in front of Trump Tower. Same group, same bunch of leftists. They were all Sanders and Clinton people. See, here's the thing. The left say they're open-minded, they're all for free speech unless it involves somebody else, and then they want to shut it down. Okay? We all know that. Who's inciting riots? It's not Donald Trump. It is the Black Lives Matter, MoveOn.org, Hillary, and Bernie supporters that are causing trouble inside and outside of these events. Look for it to get really bad around convention time, and not only for the Republicans, but I'm afraid it's going to be for the Democrats too, because you are going to have a lot of Bernie Sanders people out there protesting against Hillary Clinton. I don't think Hillary's going to get any love from those people. We also had the Fox News condemnation of Donald Trump, saying he had a sick obsession with Megyn Kelly and that his actions were unpresidential. This is, after all, Donald Trump we're talking about. He is so politically incorrect that they don't know how to handle him. Fox News, I don't even really trust too much as far as their reporting is concerned. I quit watching Megyn Kelly months and months ago. She went from being someone who was fair and balanced to someone who was just slightly off kilter. Um, she turned into an attack bull or pit bull or something, attack dog. I don't mean to put down pit bulls, by the way. I'm just saying, she's I can't trust her. And same thing with uh, Brett Baer and Chris Wallace. I'm not sure I like them very much anymore either. And Megyn Kelly got pissed off at Bill O'Reilly because O'Reilly would not defend her to Donald Trump when Trump was on his show. That tells me a lot about Megyn Kelly. She got her itty bitty feelings hurt, apparently. All right. I don't like to talk about the issues too much on this show because, it's just something that I don't really discuss to a great degree. But the recent Fox poll, of all things, about the issues voters thought were more important today, um, in order: terrorism, 27%; the economy and jobs, 21%; healthcare, 8%; climate change and immigration is at 6%; foreign policy and race relations are at 5%; the federal deficit is at 4; gay marriage 2, and that covers taxes and other as well at 2%; and abortion at 1%. What this tells me is the issues that the Democrat Party say are not important overall to the people out there. It's only important to the fringe groups. It's only important to the pro abortionist and the pro illegal immigration people. The rest of America is not that big of a deal. Terrorism, jobs in the economy, and healthcare are the big three. Now, I could go in on a complete rant here on all of this, but what I'm going to say is simple. I think that this year bodes well for the Republicans because of the very fact that we are talking about terrorism, immigration, healthcare, and the economy, as opposed to the BS stuff like climate change, gay marriage, race relations, and abortion. I think the Republicans will win this year just on that. Okay, now we've got that out of the way. I want to talk about something personal. I don't like to talk a lot of personal stuff on this show, but Friday was my birthday. I turned 39Q, which is 56 in human years. I'm like Jack Benny. I'm going to stay 39 until I run out of letters of the alphabet. Um, it was a great day up until my ex father in law passed away. I found that out late Friday night. Bob Van Hooser was his name, 80 years old, complications of cancer is what he passed away from. My thoughts and prayers go out to my ex wife Sharon, to my ex brother in law Mike, and my ex sister in law Judy, the grandkids, the nieces and nephews, and Jerry, my step ex mother in law. Bob was the typical Texas cowboy. He was a very cool guy. He was my surrogate father. When my dad died in 2000, Bob became my surrogate dad. And I'm going to miss Bob because not only did he teach me how to play canasta, but he taught me how to be a Texan when I was down there. And he is going to be missed. And I may not be here Wednesday. I may wind up going to Texas for a funeral. So if I'm not, I will catch you guys on Sunday next week. Until then, my time's up. I thank you for yours. Pray for America because God knows we need it in the Holy Week, especially. Until next time, later.